Hey traders and investors, welcome back to another one of my videos. Last week we did a trade ideas segment on Sunday. We called it our Sunday special. And so this week, as promised, we are back with another one, as you guys seem to really like that video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of the major pairs, some of the major currency pairs, as well as a couple other charts that I see some potential in coming into this week. So by the time you guys are watching it, it is Sunday and we've got the markets opening in a matter of hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump through some charts, give you guys a little bit of some technical ideas or some setups that I see going into this week. Starting out with Euro USD, we actually saw Euro dollar kind of come up here and form a high point here. We can actually just see it very clearly. We pointed out in some of the live sessions this week that we came up here and we formed kind of a high point right around here, and then we quickly came down. We found a second retest of that area. Price hesitated up there for a moment, and then on Friday here we saw the sell-off come pretty hard for Euro USD. Now a lot of times this is what's going to happen. We're going to see stuff where we get this major run up, and a lot of times the trend doesn't just full on reverse. A lot of times what ends up happening from these big trends is we get something like Euro dollar making its move, and then it starts to momentum slow. Right? And this is where I think we kind of are with Euro USD. We've had an incredible bullish rally as the US dollar has fallen significantly, right? We've had a lot of bearishness on those USD pairs, which causes things like Euro USD to do what? To go up. And so we've seen that move here going on for Euro USD. That's been the story for a little while. But now what are we seeing? What I wanted to point out is I've got this moving average here on the chart. This is just a 20-period moving average. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. And what you'll notice here is you'll actually notice that what was a very strong defined trend has actually slanted this way, right? We've kind of sloped off, just like in our illustration here. So as we kind of slope off, I think that there is some potential here for Euro USD to see some proper pullback. On top of that, we've got this double top. So let me give you guys my opinion as to if I were to be taking a trade on Euro USD going into this week. I think one of my favorite trade ideas is to identify that, okay, we have entered into a back and forth sort of market. And I think that the the highest probability setup that I like here on Euro USD personally is looking for the break below structure, looking for some sort of confirmation in terms of a close underneath, right? And then looking for the retest. Okay, very simple concept. I talk about it again and again on the channel because it is a very basic concept, looking for those break and retests. The key is to find times where the market is really primed and ready for a big move, if you will. So my idea here is, okay, we've seen this really strong run up. We've seen the momentum starting to slow. The final kind of breakthrough, the confirmation that I'd be looking for in order to get short on Euro USD would be a proper break underneath structure and looking for some sort of retest. So with that said, this is something that I will be watching and updating inside of the VIP group that we offer. If you are not already a member, there's a link down below in the description. I highly recommend you come check it out. Come join us in our chat rooms. You get access to all of my trades being shared in real time, the actual trades that I'm taking with entries, exits, and analysis. And you get access to the rest of our traders. We've got a couple different experienced traders that are sharing alerts inside of the group, a couple different analysts. So check that out in the description. So that's what I'm looking for on Euro USD. I will keep that up to date, probably on the live streams and inside of the VIP group. So we'll see what ends up happening there on Euro dollar. But that's the thought I have for EU. Now, similar story on GU, which looks much the same. In fact, maybe even just as clearly defined. We've got this double top opportunity here. We've got this kind of slowdown where we've seen this incredible rally to the upside. But just because something forms a double top does not mean it's ready to absolutely slam to the downside and never come back. What it can mean, though, is that we have seen some slowdown. We have seen some hesitation from buyers to continue to push past these levels. Now, we have also entered into a consolidation zone, and as we do that, I think that a similar setup here is in play for GU. If we were to see the break underneath, that would show us that not only has momentum slowed, but it's now starting to go in the other direction. So watching this moving average, we have crossed back underneath it. We've seen that break underneath the 20. We've seen this market double top, and we've seen this market into a range-bound market after a long run-up. What that can mean is either it can just keep trending, or we can wait for the break back the other way for potential reversal setups and start going back to the south side. So we'll see what happens on GU there, but those are the two trades that I'm looking on those USD pairs. pairs that I am currently watching now. I probably, again, will update any VIP members that are inside of the group with alerts on any trades I take on those two pairs. I'm watching them pretty closely. One more USD pair actually is USD Jpy. I like the way this one really formed a bottom this week. We came down hard for the last several weeks here on USD Jpy. And we formed a bottom here with this bullish engulfing candle, really showing upside as things slammed back the other way. And then we kind of did a little bit of a pullback here, right? And then on Friday, we shot back to the upside there with NFP going on. So really kind of an interesting one to watch here on UJ, because what happened here was we basically had our first signs of a shifting in momentum, but we still have some bearish stuff to get past. So if we actually take it to the daily chart, what I'll show you is we've got this trend line that we talked about actually here on last week's update. When we watched this candle here, we said, okay, that's a pretty strong bullish engulfing, pretty good chance we see some continuation on Monday. We actually did see that, although we did erase those gains towards the end of the session, and towards the rest of the week we kind of faded off. But now the question will become here on UJ, a very similar concept with these USD pairs. Can we get that break above key resistance, and can there be some more upside here for the potential upside? Now, you remember last week, if you watched the update, I talked about my bullish bias on USD pairs. So far, that's been playing out really nicely. So we'll see if that can continue. I do still have a bullish outlook, but there are some things to understand about that. I'm not bullish to the moon on the US dollar pairs. I'm just bullish on the technical bounce play that we're watching right now. Now, if this were to break here, looking for some sort of continuation up to this level on the lower time frames would probably be the most interesting point to me, just because we've got past resistance here that looks pretty solid on that daily chart. So that's what I'm watching on USD JPY. Next up is gold. Everyone is always talking about gold inside of the community. There's constantly banter and chat about gold going on. So let's take a look at it here inside the video. Now you can actually see that on Friday, we got our first sign of a pretty strong red candle. First time we've seen that really in maybe a month or two, right? We've seen some other red candles, some slightly red ones that have very quickly been bought up by buyers. We saw this one. This one was somewhat strong, but not quite strong enough, and buyers basically bought this one up. So the trend still is up here, don't get me wrong, but it does look like we've seen our first sign of a bear market potential. Now, you guys, if you've watched my streams, if you've watched my channel for a while, you know already that gold for me on the daily chart is a long-term buy. I've been a bull ever since we crossed above the 200 period moving average. I'll actually throw that on here. Let's see if I can put my trend and go to moving average, put 200 here. We'll do this. So you can actually see on this move above the 200 period back way in, what is this? Let's see, that is right around a move above in, yeah, just right around the beginning of 2019. So the beginning of 2019, ever since then, I haven't taken any bearish trades on gold. I've been only looking for bullish setups. And the reason behind that is because gold is a momentum beast. It just keeps going in the direction that it wants to go. And so it can be a very dangerous game to try and play the short side. However, with that said, doesn't mean it's impossible to try and short gold and make money on it. I just think that it's very, very important to actually look for some sort of proper sign of a good chance of a reversal or a good chance of a more downside, rather than just trying to short something because it seems high. Now, when we talk about gold here, this is the first time also on this 20 period moving average that we looked at that we've actually been able to close underneath. Notice how price has held that level consistently for quite some time. Now, we were range bound here, but for the most part, when we broke out, we've seen up, 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 up. Since mid-July, we've seen nothing but up and really holding that 20 period. This is the first time here that we've actually been underneath it, which is a pretty big deal to me. I think that that could signal some further short-term downside for gold and may actually give longer-term buyers some opportunities to look for setups. With that said, let's talk about some potential areas of support. While we're taking a look at here, gold, we've got these kind of levels. This consolidation zone that we previously broke out of could be due for a retest. And if that were to retest, there might be long-term potential to the upside. And I think that that is the biggest zone to me that catches my eye. If we take a look at the daily, you can actually see some longer term levels Of course, this one's very far away, but that 1750 level we've talked about as a previous consolidation top. We've also got this area, which was kind of another consolidation top at that 1815 mark. So these are some deeper retracements that may never actually get filled or get hit again, but we'll see. You know, gold is one of those things. When it trends, it can really trend, and if it flips directions, you know, it could do a quick move back down to these levels within just a few weeks. It's very possible. So keep an open mind on gold. It's the most dangerous thing with gold, in my opinion, is to have a closed mind, because a lot of times people just try and fight the trend endlessly on gold, and it's a very dangerous game to play, especially if you're using you know, position sizes that are not proper for your account. So those are my thoughts on gold. Real quick, we'll take a look at the S&P 500, which did make a push to the high side yet again. We are not quite at the all-time highs, but we're very, very close here on the S&P 500. Very big deal there that we are just running and running and running, looking like it's very likely we will come back and touch that double top point there pretty soon. So we'll see if that has anything to play. I would imagine if we get a couple more bullish days, we could actually tag that and maybe even break it, which is really, really incredible. But you know, we'll watch that. I think that the big thing here is we are still steadily above that 20-day moving average, which is pretty significant. We've also got, let's see, this kind of trend line here to the upside as well. So a lot of uptrend structure. For me, the biggest opportunity for looking for a short would probably be a break underneath this level here and looking for some signs of retest and looking to go short. Until that point, no interest on the short side from me, purely because we are above the 20 period moving average. We're above the 200 period moving average. We are also in a very bullish environment in the terms of you know, a lot of the sentiment is very bullish. Now, the fundamentals to me are not so bullish, and so that's why I'm also not buying this thing. I'm not buying into this market just because you know, sentiment is good, because the underlying fundamentals, in my view, are not so good. Right? We have a lot of bankruptcies. We have a lot of problems. We have a lot of you know, structural damage that's been done by this whole pandemic thing that could last much longer than a 6-month window. Right? A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have lost a lot of money to this. They've lost everything. Businesses have gone under. We've got a lot of structural damage that I think that trying to buy into a stock market that is back to all-time highs, I would say my personal view is that the market was much more valuable at the previous time we were here, and we're almost trading at the exact same point, right? At this point, we didn't have government shutdowns and you know, lockdowns and all that sort of stuff that's going on, right? We didn't have that, and the market was priced here. Now we're almost at the same point, and we have all these problems and bad earnings and bad unemployment, all this stuff, right? So my view is I'm not interested in buying, but if there were some short side setups that really started to show themselves, I might be interested. So that's my view on S&P 500, US 30, those kind of things. And that's what I've got for today. Let's real quick just hover over Bitcoin for a moment. Bitcoin on the weekly chart here really showing some bullish signs. We've seen some really nice moves here on the crypto industry. We actually, very interestingly enough, long term, this is a weekly chart, seen some nice hold up over the long term, right? Some higher lows consistently. Big deal to me, because I think that you know, if we actually are able to close somewhere above these wicks at a point, I think that could actually mean we're headed back to all-time highs, which is very interesting. So if we were to get a few more weeks like this, right, I think it's possible. We've seen crypto do it before. Do another run up as people get excited about this, as people look to dump their fiat currencies potentially, right? I'm not a crazy, you know, Bitcoin bull, but I do have Bitcoin investments. I do have some crypto, and I think that it does have potential. I like the technology, and you know, personally, that's just my view. So, you know, agree with me, disagree with me, but that's just my personal opinion when it comes to Bitcoin. And I think that the technicals potentially align with that. So there might be some setups there. I will, of course, keep that updated. Guys, if you're not already a VIP member, come join us in the A1 trading community. We've got thousands of members. We've got moderators, a staff team. We've got an in-person office team that is working to moderate that team to the best of our ability and make it the best place for traders to come together, trade together, collaborate, all that good stuff. So if you're interested, at least check it out. There's a link down below in the description. Thanks so much, and maybe we'll see you inside.